Hey there. It's good to have you back. This is a live coaching call with one of my favorite clients, Catherine Collins. You'll love her accent. She's from England. And she talks a little bit about what we would call imposter syndrome, maybe having a little bit of fear around taking action in a new direction. The coaching call ended up being amazing for both me and her. I always learn a little bit of something from each coaching call, something that I can use for myself too. So this particular coaching call was extremely beneficial, I think, for both of us. We did sort of get cut off at the end. There was a lovely HVAC guy in my office that didn't really get the hint from the please do not disturb on my door and the locked door, and came in to do some work on the air conditioner. So it did sort of get cut off at the end, but it is still a lovely coaching call. And thank you, Catherine, for being such a gracious guest. Hey there, fellow rebels. Welcome to #ActuallyICan, the podcast where we say a hearty hell yes to designing life on our own terms. I'm Katie Ripp, a lifestyle coach, business mentor, and serial entrepreneur, here to guide you through the wild ride of defying what society expects of us and embracing our authenticity. On this show, we dive deep into taboo topics like death, money, spirituality, entrepreneurship, unapologetic self-care, and personal development, all while swearing and laughing along the way. Expect down and dirty conversations, plenty of humor, and a whole lot of exploration, leaving you feeling empowered to be your truest self. Whether you're craving a good laugh, seeking unconventional self-care tips, or simply looking for some camaraderie, you've come to the right place. We only get this one short life, so buckle up and let's design yours on our own terms. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Katie.
Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really excited to see you.
Thank you. I'm so excited and can't wait.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you. Is there anything that feels good to clear before we get going? Anything we can do a couple deep breaths if you want? You know, you could let something off your chest that is really bugging you, that's just annoying, and you can leave outside the door.
I don't think anything's bugging me much. Maybe just a couple of deep breaths would be
Yeah,
good.
that'd be great. So if you want to give your eyes a close and just roll your shoulders back. So we'll do a nice big deep breath in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do a couple of more just like that. And when you're ready, open your eyes, roll your shoulders back one more time, maybe readjust yourself in your seat.
It's perfect.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So what brings you here today? What can we talk about?
Basically, have all these ideas of things I want to do for work and everything, but I seem to just get frozen or stuck. Like I don't action them. And I don't think it's just because I don't know how to do them. There's something there. And I'm like, why do I keep stopping myself from going forward?
All right. What would be beneficial, like by the end of this call? Like, what are you looking for in this session in particular in that subject?
I mean, in an ideal world, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go do everything.
Well, yes. And by the way, this is a perfect world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But I'm also realistic that like I can't action every single idea.
Right.
I think what I'm looking for is just an understanding of what's stopping me or what's getting in my way. It's almost like I think like work or be next steps, you know, like you actually have to, now you got to do the work, Catherine. It's not just your idea. So yeah, what's stopping me from doing that?
At this point in your life, why is this important? Is this connected to something else?
Yeah. So I already have a career. I own a consultancy agency. We build beauty and wellness brands. And I've been in that industry for the last 19 years.
You're the boss, right?
Yes, I guess.
You're a founder.
Yeah. I'm the founder. I see it more like that. Yeah. I've got my lovely little collective of other consultants. It's great. And I mentor a lot of, founders, other founders, and we build brands and expand brands globally and things.
No big deal. Just globally.
Well, we help them. But yeah. And I have a really spiritual side. And I've always done, I've done kinesiology, I've done Reiki, I've done hypnotherapy, coaching, and other somatics and stuff and other modalities. And I have like a whole way that I live my life and that I bring it into some of my practices with my clients. But it's important because I want to move more into that side and phase of my life. I'm building a new website. It's not that I'm building something new, it's something that I'm just being more authentic in how I'm showing up. Not that I was inauthentic before, it's just I didn't really show all these facets of myself.
Ah,
Yeah. So these ideas are all related to that new business.
yeah.
Mostly. Yeah, they are. And there's just like, I have the website, I have the ideas, I've started building the website. This has like been years of this. I action little bits, but I know I can action so much more.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you've made some major progress.
Yeah, I think my family would be like, wow, she's finally actually done it. It's taken her a real long time. I don't know if I'd agree.
I'm sitting here like, God, you have done a lot already, right? In that direction.
Yeah. I think in this last year, it's been like, much more taken big strides. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So give yourself a little credit for that, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll start there and then we'll build.
Yeah, that's really good rather than beating myself up.
Yeah, right. Because you have made some really major success. So feeling good, like walking away from this, we're going to maybe look at a few ideas and then understand like what's holding you back from moving in that direction of those particular ideas.
Yes.
Because clearly we've seen that you can make progress and take action in certain areas.
Yeah.
So there must be something about some of the other ideas that's holding you back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Where would you like to begin? Tell me where we're at.
I think I'd like to begin maybe it'd be helpful to dive into a couple of the ideas.
Yeah.
And then see why I feel I can't do that.
Yeah. I'd love to hear what ideas you feel like are holding you back. Because again, you've like made some major progress in areas. So there's clearly ideas that you have that you're feeling stuck in.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what those ideas are.
Yeah, I feel like it's just all very big. There's a lot of overwhelm with everything I want to do so I want to obviously still keep doing one-to-ones, but I really want to do more group-led things. So essentially integrating, like coming with like sacred coaching circles. So where I integrate the spirituality with the idea of coaching and we bring forward, this is the thing, the ideas are like, do we bring forward topics to discuss how do I make it look? I'm just going very top. There's obviously so many more things within this, but at the top of that, it's like, how do we make it look? How does it work online? I've done it in person and that works well, but it's like, how do I bring that forward online? Then there's also like all the email marketing I need to do around it. Then there's the social media. And I go in this whole forward tunnel of like, I've got to do this, 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 and this, and this. And then I kind of freeze and I don't know what to do next. Whereas I have in the business I do, I help people plot all this out. We help teams do all of this. So I know I'm capable of like mapping this out, but for some reason I just, I get scared.
Oh, that's something.
Mm.
What's there? What do you think you're scared of?
Being stupid.
Oh, careful. That is my friend you're talking about.
It being like it not being right, or it just being like me not being good at it, good enough to do it.
Do you think that's true?
It gives me a bit of anxiety when I like lean into it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can tell like you're kind of crunched up.
Yeah.
So open up.
Yeah. Is it true? I don't think like I know my heart of hearts it isn't true.
Right.
But there's something there that's like, it's a seer.
Yeah. Does it feel good to dive into that a little bit right now? Feel good. Maybe feel good is a stretch, but.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel like I need to explore it because it keeps coming out.
Yeah.
And it's what's stopping me from moving forward.
So you went into a few of the like nitty gritty details, right? Like the marketing, the strategy, the social media, those are sort of surface level stuff. That overwhelm, that's sort of where you get stuck, like paralyzed, like, oh my God, this is where I stop. What part of those like nitty gritty details gives you the most fear?
Actually, I don't know if they give me the most fear. I think it's actually just showing up and doing it.
Uh-huh. Do you have instances in your life where you show up personally in other ways? I know you show up for your business for sure, but would this be the first time that you sort of become vulnerable in a I'm putting myself out there way?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much. That's what's kind of scary. Well, it is, yeah.
Yeah. What part of that is scary?
If I imagine that I might get it wrong, I think there's like this word like coming up, like be ridiculed, which is, I didn't expect that.
Oh, ridicule. Yeah.
I hadn't even, that's a new one to me.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it's around like how I'm going to appear. And that's what, when I think about showing up, so, okay, I got to take a leap of faith and do this.
Yeah.
There's no going back. Like, this is what I want to do. It's just, I don't know all the steps.
Is that true? Do you know all the steps?
I do know the technical strategic steps that you should do, but I also really believe in like leading with a, more heart-centered approach and heart-centered business, and not everything has to be sales funnels. And
For sure, right? Like heart-centered business is not sales funnels.
no,
I mean, it could be, but
yeah,
we both know that that's not necessarily like doing it differently
Mhm.
is scary.
Yes, yeah, and I'm doing it. I still don't actually know everything that I'm going to do. Like that's part of the work actually I have to do is I need to dive into like I think it through in my head, but I haven't actually put it on paper, like what it would all look like. That's the bit where I almost like I have these phenomenal ideas and I think them, but I don't write them down and I don't then put them into action because of that fear of being, I think it's a vulnerability and this like ridiculed thing that I think people are going to potentially judge me maybe, or that it's just going to be stupid and silly.
Yeah.
Like a small self, me, my small self's like, oh,
Yeah. Right. Would it help to write it down?
yeah, I think if I wrote it down, it would get me excited. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn there. Just energy is coming out of me. Like,
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's all just coming out
yeah,
in whatever it's coming out in. That's okay. Is there something holding you back from writing it down and like making it real?
the only person holding me back is me.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I'm stopping myself before I even get started. And why am I doing that? It's a protection.
Yeah. I mean, when you said ridicule or judged, right? Like you're protecting your tender heart from getting stomped on.
Yeah.
Is that how I'm like understanding it? Right? Like
Yeah.
there is a protection here of vulnerability. And I also want to give you credit for knowing like that's what's holding you back, right? Like that's the rub here, right? Like that's where the rubber meets the road,
Yeah.
sort of. And that is not easy. It's not easy. We live in a very judgmental society around the world. Tell me what's the worst thing that could happen if you put yourself out there and somebody says, this is stupid and silly.
I mean, part of me is like laughing now because it's so stupid. I feel like, okay, like it might get a bit like, oh, that sucks that you're like mean like that. But like, I'd be like, why do you feel you need to be mean and people in public? That's not a very nice thing. So I would probably just be like, okay, whatever, that person's just a bit mean. But I don't think it would, that's the worst thing that could happen is that it just didn't work or didn't feel right for me. And I just move on to something else.
That is the worst thing?
That and the worst thing is be like somebody didn't like it. Then that's what I mean. It's not that bad, actually.
Right? Like those two things don't seem like the worst
No,
thing.
it's really not. That's what I mean. So yeah, that's actually really, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
When we like get scared about ridicule or judgment, sometimes we have like a situation in our head, right? Like this particular person is going to hate this, or they're going to make fun of me, or they're going to roll their eyes, or they're going to do something that's like, this is silly and stupid that Catherine is doing this.
Yeah.
Do you have that person in your head? Do you have someone or something?
Yeah, I can create it like a persona or person. Yeah, for sure.
Like, from your childhood or from your high school or, your younger years.
Yeah. Like people I would hate to follow me. Yeah.
Tell me about them. You don't have to use names, although we could and it would be great, but you don't have to use names.
I think they're just people who I feel are maybe just not very And this is no like fault of their own or anything like that. Very connected with who they are as a person, and they're going through the motions of life. And like, I've got to make this money. I've, got to succeed. I've got to thrive. I've always got to do better. We've got to keep pushing, got to keep going. There's not much spirituality or time for like, who am I? And this discovery into themselves and how can I be kinder and all these other things. So when I think of someone like that, and they're quite judgmental anyway, quite competitive, very competitive for themselves. And driven that way, which are good traits, but just quite like mean girly.
Yeah.
So I think and competitive with that's the kind of person I see being like, oh, this is just absolute BS. Like,
is that like your dream client or like your dream participant?
No.
Do you want the person in your circle?
No. I mean, if they want to be in it and they want to figure out what they want from life and who they really are inside and what they want to build, it's the truest expression of themselves and things. And but no, I don't want that energy. No.
Very likely that is the person that needs you the most. However, unless they're ready, right? Like clearly that is the really judgmental people. Those are the people that need the spirituality the most.
Yeah. And I guess whatever you define as like spirituality. Yeah. The one you're connecting with who they are and what really, what kind of life do they want to build rather than just going through the motions.
Right. But we know that not everybody that's in that particular situation at that time is ready for what you're offering.
No.
So not dream client.
No.
So we're not really intending to attract that particular person.
No.
Who are we trying to attract?
I would say people who are, kind obviously, but I would say women who are either like in a phase in their life where they're been doing something for a really long time and they're like, this isn't the life I want, and they want to create something new, and they've kind of lost who they are inside or disconnected from it, and they want to reconnect with who they are. They want to build from that place. That's the kind of people who also have a real, maybe potentially also they could be overwhelmed, need support, need a space, but also are very open to wanting to help themselves, would very much lean into spiritual practices, whatever those may be for them, and are really open to that and exploring that, and like to use those modalities to help get back in touch with themselves more, like ground and earth, and are interested in all those kind of things. That's the kind of person I want to attract.
Do you know anybody like that? Do you know people that could use that service?
Yeah.
Yeah, out of the 4 billion women on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's 100 people that are looking for that?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think if you don't do it, you're doing a disservice to those 100 people? If they're looking for exactly what you're offering?
In a way, but I think if I don't do it, I'm doing a disservice to myself more than anything else.
Yeah, tell me that.
Because my soul has like been caught since I was like I think even since like 13, 14, I've always been used to be called like alternative medicine, complementary, that path, and a different way of living and exploring. I was kind of raised that way too, with different modalities, but I haven't answered the call of my own soul and followed that. Not that I've completely done everything opposite, because I've kept it very separate in the practice I did in my life and my work. But if I don't do this and I don't show up as who I really am now, and I feel I'm going to really do disservice to myself, and I would really regret it. That's what is so frustrating, because it's like I feel such a strong pull, and then there's this sort of, oh gosh, what do I do next? I think it's just after talking with you in the sense, I just need to start and not be scared of like what people might say or what might happen, or that it's not perfect. Because I've also been doing things where it is kind of like you build companies and stuff, and there has to be a lot of things. Nothing's ever really perfect, but you're working towards that.
Right. Yeah.
I've always been really hard on myself with getting things right. So
is there something about that comment you said before, like you were 14 or 15 and you've always wanted to pursue this path? Mm-hmm. What's held you back for the last 20 plus years?
Expectations of what I thought I should do, what I thought society said I should do, not loving myself enough to lean into it, not honoring myself enough, like honoring what I thought I should do or what I think other people should think thought I should do, and not believing in myself enough that I could do it.
So Catherine, you're so close to this, right? Like you're so close. You've made so much progress. What changed in the last year, 2 years that like made you make action, right? Like pushed you into like, I'm starting the website. I'm starting a coaching certification. What made you finally do it?
I think I've had a lot of sickness in my life, right? Since I got really sick when I was born, a sickness, and then I was sick when in my teen years, very ill. And then I got just different things. I got COVID really badly and I had long COVID, and then I got Graves' disease. And my whole life and I was undiagnosed for a long time. And then I was really, really sick. And it happened again. Do you know what I mean? Like something got this big kind of health collapse again. And it was realizing that I just couldn't keep going on doing what I was doing because it wasn't good for me. And it was almost like another reminder. And I've had quite a few that I have to. And the thyroid and Graves is all to do with your throat and how you can show up and your words and what you say. And I just wasn't, it was just like I had a lot of really rough time. I was really sick, really rough times at that time. And I just had I had a lot of time with myself, and I wasn't able to, go out and do things. And yeah, I had a lot of time to work through it. So I think that's what came up was like, I have to start prioritizing myself, and my health was part of that, and who I am and what I want to do. And I just realized I was just very unhappy in the way I had been showing up, and it wasn't as, fulfilling, and it's just kind of going through the motions. So I think that's kind of what happened, but it's been something I'm trying to think of what made me realize that I don't know if I actually realized I want to go make this my career when I started doing things a couple of years ago. The more I prioritized myself and my voice and who I was, the more I was like, it's like you start level up and you feel more comfortable and you feel less scared. And the more I did it, the more I do, the more there is no going back. So it's like baby steps. And maybe that's what I need to, maybe that's just how I work. It's like baby steps, even with all these ideas. They're big ideas, a lot of them, but it's like maybe taking to just keep going and keep doing and not remain unattached to the outcome. I just was attached to helping and bettering myself and getting back in touch with me again and looking and caring and loving me. Necessarily, I have no idea what that outcome was going to be.
Yeah. Two things you said, if you don't mind, if I repeat them back to
please.
You. One is leveling up. Mm-hmm. Do you think you are just about to level up?
I think I kind of already have.
Mm-hmm.
And I just now need to go be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I think as business owners, we both know right before you're about to level up, the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Right? Like internally, right? We don't know if we're worth it. We don't know if we can make it. We don't know if people are going to judge it. We don't know if people are going to accept us, right? Like business wise, just in a like female entrepreneur place, leveling up is really hard because right before you're going to do it, you hit some shit.
And things come up that you would have thought were a dream thing before, but then you're like,
oh, wait.
Yeah, why are you coming into my life again to like make me feel like I have to do this?
Yeah. One of the things that has always resonated with me, and it was from a book a long time ago, but it was like, the universe just wants to know you're serious. Mm-hmm. The universe just wants to know you're fucking serious about getting to the next level. So we're going to throw some shit at you just to make sure that this is what you really want.
Right. Yeah.
So this sort of like when you said level up, I was like, maybe there's something there. The other thing is not being attached to the outcome. Ooh. So when at the beginning of this conversation, we talked about all those like nitty gritty things, right? Like the strategy, the marketing, like putting myself out there on social media, that kind of thing. Do you think you're attaching that sort of detail to the outcome?
Yeah, that's actually, those things are like, the details that give me this outcome that I think I should have.
Tell me about the outcome you think you should have in this particular, right? Like the business you want to start, the practice you want to start.
It's like I have the part of me that's like, that's rubbish, Catherine. Just let it unfold and unfurl and be what it is. And then the other part that's really analytical is like, no, it should be, you have this website, you start your course, you have this many things in practice. So you get you start getting this many people, you start doing these things in person, you do this thing online, and then blah, blah, blah. Like there's so many levels to it and so many, what's the word, like boxes almost you should be ticking as an entrepreneur to move, which kind of goes against the ethos that I actually truly believe in, which is go forth and really tune into what feels right and make steps in that direction and just show up as who you are and see what doors open for you. It doesn't hurt that you have like business acumen and things to help you, but it really doesn't have to be perfect. Like some of the people I love to follow most, like it isn't perfect, but I love it because it's real. And like I'm so excited. I watch their stuff and I would consider doing stuff with them because I just love that they're so honest and real and figuring out as they go, but they're also kind of masters in their craft.
Is there something about the patterns? Like, are you noticing anything about the patterns? You kind of use two examples, right? And we've both been through the Mind Rebel Academy. So we know like we've got our rebel mind, we've got our guard, and we've got our authentic self.
Yeah.
Is there anything about these patterns of turning on your entrepreneurial brain, which is I have to produce something that is protecting you?
I don't think it's protecting me. I think it's just what I'm used to doing.
Is it something you're just really good at? So it feels right to like...
It's annoying.
Oh, it's annoying to be so good at something.
No, I don't want to be, it's not big-headed like that. I mean,
No.
It's just annoying. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that I know a lot of the pitfalls. So I'm like trying to protect myself from that stuff happening or also to make it really successful. Whereas, yeah, there's two sides. It's that one that is sort of like, it's like an alert, like a siren, like, you're like,
yeah,
warning, come on. And then the other one's like, oh, let's just be fluid and, flow. And like, that's the one I like. And then it's a bit in the middle. That's it. Actually, that's it. That's where I get stuck because there's two, and that's what I'm like all over. Actually, I have two different parts that are business orientated, and the other one's very like, oh, I'm just putting my hands in the earth and I'm doing my grounding every day, and I do this and I do, but it's like very fluid and natural, and I just tune into what I want to feel and do.
Is it just so much different than what you know?
What do you mean?
Is that flowing part of like, I just want to put my hands in the dirt and ground, and is it just so much different than what you know and what you're comfortable with?
Yeah, like a no in the sense of the analytical stuff.
Yeah, like no in the sense of maybe you don't have as many examples out there to follow of like, this is the way it could be done, heart-led, and I could let it flow, and I don't have to be attached to the outcome and how much money I'm making at it.
Yeah, that is so different from what I know.
Yeah.
Now I got it. Yeah, that is very different from what I know and I'm expected to show up and do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it is. But it's also, in all honesty, a lot of the way I lead my other side, like the rest of my life and how my brain works and thinks is that a lot of the time, except when that fear, comes in, it's like, well, how are you going to make money at this? Like, practice things and like, that comes in a little bit, but that's not probably the biggest part of it in that sense. But it is like, yeah, how can you, make this successful? So yeah, it's that bit. Yeah, but I'm getting it's a lot clearer that I really like the flow side.
On the flow side, right? We're talking about kind of two things, right? Like your group coaching practice, what you said at the beginning, right? Like I have all these ideas. I want to do this like kind of A thing. And then you've got sort of real life right now, this B thing, this very analytical side, this very like successful money making, situation. You've got kind of two sides here. When we're talking about the flow side, we'll just talk flow, which sounds like it's very aligned with your authentic self that you've been discovering over the last few years. What does success look like? Like if you had the outcome that you are wanting, what does that look like?
Oh, well, I have been thinking a bit about this. I think randomly I have actually. Success to me looks like getting, I'm admitting this, but yeah, getting paid to share wisdom and help others. And that's it. And it's not hard work. Work isn't even in my vocabulary because I show up doing what I love to do. What success to me looks like, it almost feels like it's like I wake up every day like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I got to do this. Do you know, like that feeling? And
Yeah.
you wake up and tune with what you need that day and, tending to your own needs, I guess, before you then can tend and help so much others. Like that's so paramount too. So, and having the time and space to do that and being regulated. So there's loads. Yeah. Success to me looks like not work, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I have such negative connotations with the word work, I think. Yeah. So
Do you think you deserve a life like that?
I want a life like that.
That's not what I asked.
No, I deserve a life like that. I'm like, part of it's like, is that possible? But yes, of course it's possible. I've seen other people do that. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then a part of me is like, it's that thing where people will be like, whoa, do you think I have it all or something? The jealousy thing. Yeah. So
What's in there?
that I don't want to upset other people by me being super happy or healthy or that I do that. Yeah, that I'm putting other people's needs before my own. Yikes.
I don't mean to be laughing, but I would like to say that back to you. I don't want to upset other people by being too happy, too healthy, and have it all. How does that land?
I don't want it to land.
Yeah, we could just kick that one to the curb.
Yeah, that I had no idea that was there. Like, but that makes sense actually, because there's times even in relationships, if I think back to relationships, I haven't shown up and I haven't fully been myself. It's because I put their needs before mine, or if there was cultural, religious things where mine, because theirs were always more important. But I didn't essentially just want to, I did put needs for them, but I didn't value myself enough to be like, hey, I'm actually, even though mine's different, like it's still equal to yours. Yours aren't more important than mine. And your life and your path isn't more important than mine. So this is like having big awareness. Yeah, like I value myself enough to be like, yeah, my needs are just like my desires and stuff are really valid as much as anybody else's. And why not? Like, go have those if you want them. And everyone has the right to go do that.
So can I ask you again? Do you think you're worthy of a life like that?
Yeah, why not? Of course. Yeah.
Well, the answer is fuck yes.
I'd be like, hell yes. But yeah. Yeah. That is like, whoa, I feel like something's just opened in my head.
Mm.
And I feel like my energy is lighter. Everything feels lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, your eyes are a little brighter. I love that. If we were to, with this new awareness, if you were to go out and feel really inspired today to do something, right? Like, let's get out of the way, right? Like, let's move this obstacle out of my path. What could you move? What could you do? Sort of, if you're walking down this path, what could you do right away?
Okay. So realistically, after this, do have a consultancy call.
Maybe not today, but
no, but what I could do is I actually can jot down, like I have Post-it notes, and I think it would really help me to actually be like, I fully deserve this life as much as anybody else, and to have the life I really want to have. And that's also what I believe I want to help other people do. So I have to do that to help other people do that. And I'm like just at that little cusp, like you said, and I feel like, yeah, thanks to this, I feel like I'm really crossing over into it. Yeah, so I think that's kind of what I can do right this moment. And then I can also, I do feel like it would be cool to write down these few things I have. It's not just the circles, there's other stuff, and just write down like kind of all my thoughts and wisdom and the exciting things and actually get excited about it.
let's do it right now, right? Like grab your Post-it note quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also love for you to write down like the definition of success for the flow state.
Okay, so Post-it notes. I deserve to live my most fulfilling.
You can always rewrite this, right? Like I want to like get this stuff down, because one of the things that you said you haven't done is write this down, right? Like, let's get it out.
Stick up on my computer now. And then this success flow state, like,
Yeah.
yeah, success is the flow state.
hmm It's the ultimate flow state. And being in an ultimate flow state also takes away that work word.
I
Right?
hate
Like
this word work. And everyone talks about, I work so hard. I work. And it's like, yeah, there's extreme periods in life when I've really worked my ass off. And like, yeah, it's tough. And other people have really tough times with work. But I actually hate the word. I think the word work, it's like workout. It's always just like all exhausting.
Yeah. Well, like a grind.
Yeah.
And it's also become sort of a badge of honor for people.
That's true.
Right? Like I work so hard, therefore I am. And it doesn't make you a better person.
True. It's just like, yeah, like I work so much and I do this and I do that. And it makes you, defines you. I don't like being defined by my work.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I wrote down was, and I don't know exactly how you want to write this down for yourself, but not attaching to an outcome.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a practice. That's pretty
Not attaching to it.
Ingrained, right? Like
maybe I just do. Like yesterday, for instance, we live near a beach and I was just walking down by the beach and like I had no much makeup on or anything like that. I didn't really, whatever. And I just took a video of just like thoughts that come to me because that's when it does when I'm walking or on my like things just come to me. And there's also I'm really into nature and flowers and herbs and stuff. And there's a really cool plant called Viper's bugloss, which is in full bloom at the moment, and it's beautiful.
I want to see it.
Thistle, but actually it has the most stunning blue flowers. But the whole spiritual meaning of this plant is falsehood, which is about not being true to yourself. But I did record these videos on my phone, I was thinking I could use them for Instagram. Maybe that's what my not attaching to an outcome is. I just do this like every few times a week. I just upload it and just be like, okay, cool. That's what's come through today. And I'll just share it. And
yeah,
it's not like I have in that other account, I have like no followers. It doesn't really matter. So, just put it up there.
I think the thing about that is Instagram, for instance, is the ultimate practice in not having attachment to an outcome because there's an immediate outcome, right? Like nobody likes it, nobody shares it, nobody follows me from it. No, right? Like it, but it's an ultimate practice in that I'm just putting this out into the universe and the right people will find me.
Yeah, that's true.
And it is a practice. It is harder than you think it is. It gets easier as you go, right? But like, if you're not attached to the outcome, it's a perfect way to practice it because I'm doing this for myself.
Yeah. No, actually, that's true.
I'm doing it for myself first. And anybody else that's looking for it, my dream people that are looking for me, because I guarantee, Catherine, people are looking for you. I'm looking for you. So people are looking for, like, I don't know anything about that plant. I would love to know that. Honest to God, I would love to know that. That is my, like, I think it's why we're connected, right? Like, that is my jam.
Yep.
So I would love to know that. And not only are you serving a purpose for yourself, which we talked about, right? Like you're doing a disservice to yourself by not sharing this. Those are your words.
Yeah.
But also you're doing a disservice to me by not sharing it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, you're so right. And I feel like really good about this because I think I just try things because I do realize the more things I've done that I didn't know the outcome, it's not only builds resilience, but it also builds proof. So, and you just keep doing it. And it builds also, what's the word? Like, when you're very nervous and dysregulated and you're so scared, but the more you do something sometimes, if you're able to deal with it enough, and I am now, I'm feeling a lot better and stuff, then yeah, it just kind of builds confidence in that it just sort of washes off your back. And it's the same in business and building things. Like you just keep doing things and learning. And yeah, so yeah, not attaching to the outcome, just trying things. And it can be posting, it could be even just trying new stuff in general, like pottery class or whatever I want to do.
Yeah, get yourself a microphone, right? We talked about that. Get yourself a microphone and start recording meditations.
Yeah.
Or you don't ever have to use them for anything.
No.
Like they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to do anything. They could just be for you.
Yeah, I did one the other day actually on the beach. I just sat there and I was just like, I'll just do it here and people can just look at something pretty. Because I would love that sometimes, you know?
Yeah, right. Hold on one second. What's that? No, that's okay. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Billy.
Well, we're not attached to the outcome.
Right. We're not attached. Anyway, so sorry to interrupt. How do you feel right now? Like, tell me what's coming up for you.
I feel I have so much more understanding as to like these two sides of me that were kind of like, how do we integrate? And I don't even know if it's a full, like maybe that's another topic, but like full integration of them. But it's like, it's more about leaning into one side a little bit more. And these kind of things, like not attached to an outcome, continuing to honor like my rhythms of the day and things like that as much as possible. And knowing that like the success I want is that flow state. Yeah, it gives me somewhere to get started. Like that's much more easy than all this immense other things. And I'm looking at it like building a company. So
yeah,
it's more freeing.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more like, relief. Like I can just do this and give it a
Yeah. What's next best steps for you?
Next best steps are, like I said, I think my Post-its are fabulous. They're great. And yeah, just starting to put stuff up on the easiest one of not attaching to outcome is the Instagram one straight away. Getting my website up, but it doesn't really matter if it's not all, things change, you know? So it just get up and whatever feels right now.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm ready. I'm here. Let's do this. Let's see what I can do, how I can help. So yeah.
I love it so much.
Thank you. That's where I am.
Is there a way that feels good to end the session? Any way to ground into some of those nuggets?
I feel like very excited. So I feel like I just need to like,
let's go. Go. Right.
Like move and just feel like, let's go. That's how I feel.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. I'm going to let you go then.
Thank you.
And do all your stuff. We can touch base again. And that's a wrap on today's episode. I hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of living authentically with me. Before you go, don't forget to connect with me on Instagram. Shoot me a message at Katie Rip. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode and connect with you further. And remember, if you want more details on today's episode or just want to explore more about designing your life unapologetically, head on over to my website at katierip.com. There, you'll find all the juicy details and resources you need to keep the inspiration flowing. Lastly, if you'd like to join me on the show, whether it's to tell about your experience of designing your own life, to share your expertise, or if you'd like to participate in lifestyle coaching live on air, don't hesitate to reach out. Your story could inspire countless others on their own path to living authentically. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep living boldly, designing your life, and remember, #actually, I can.